tried to film these in this chair because my desk tripod is not with me at the moment, and it's just not going the way I wanted it to. Welcome, folks, to the review, Sasha Raquel's review, that's me, of Loki episode 203. That's season 2, episode 3. This is something that has been building in the second season that I love, that I really am enjoying, and that is the fact that this season is kind of one big ethical dilemma. And the thing that it reminds me most of is a show called The Good Place, which was very popular a couple years ago. I'm sure you've watched it on streaming. If you haven't, it's 4 seasons, only 4 seasons. What are you doing? Get on it, please. In The Good Place, they talk about a lot of different philosophical issues, debates, kind of theories, if you will, and kind of explore what it means to be human by these people who are no longer alive. And what I think is interesting in the TVA, the Loki version of this, is we are dealing with a bunch of characters who kind of have, for lack of a better explanation, have no idea who they are. They've been living under false pretenses for their entire life, or what they can remember of it. They have kind of connections or allegiances that now with this new information, they don't know how they should feel about it. And while I talked last week about how interesting it is to see people on all different sides of that spectrum, here I feel like in this episode, as we are introduced to even more characters, or more characters, I should say, that we knew before, eventually pop up, which are the characters of Victor Timely and of Regina Renslayer, we get to see these ethical dilemmas play out. Although The Good Place would take kind of an ethical dilemma, an episode, and kind of work through it and really like play up the goofiness or wackiness of like something like the trolley problem. Okay, my chair is sliding. One moment, please. The Good Place would kind of explore one of these ethical dilemmas per episode. Here, we're really getting to see them kind of play out at large. One of the things that I think is really emblematic of this ethical dilemma being tested within the new information that we have this season with the characters of the TVA is kind of where Sylvie stands. So I see Sylvie's kind of MO, or the way that Sylvie is sort of operating on a different basis than Mobius and Loki here. Mobius and Loki think that they need Victor Timely to help them figure out some of the inner workings of the TVA, because if he is indeed a variant of Kang, he can help them fix all the timelines by them basically saving the life of Victor Timely, someone who has the capacity or who in other alternate universes and timelines has done horrible things. They want to use his power and his intelligence for good, basically. Whereas we have Sylvie, who feels that the only way peaceful forward is to not control these timelines, let each of them kind of war for independence, not prune all of them, and kill Victor Timely, that there should not be somebody in charge and ruling these timelines. And so what I think is interesting here is both are dealing with the concept of saving these interdimensional, intertime lives, kind of saving different timelines. Even though this isn't an ethical dilemma that one person is trying to figure out which train tracks to put the trolley on to lessen the death toll or something, we're dealing with kind of the really fun sci-fi version of that, which is, do we let a potentially evil person live to save a bunch of others, or are we going about this all wrong? Another thing that I think it brings up is one of my favorite concepts that has come from a Marvel movie, and that is what I like to call the Ultron problem. What I think is super interesting about the character of Ultron and the entire plot of Age of Ultron is Tony is trying to put a suit of armor around the whole world. He's trying to protect everything. What he's trying to do is an inherently good thing. However, when you use a artificial intelligence that is intended to protect all people from any possible threat, anyone has the capacity to be a threat. And so therefore, is it fair to punish someone prior to them committing a bad thing because they may, or because they have the capacity to? So like, for example, in Ultron, he starts to want to take out different areas of the world because he realizes that humans will lead to their own destruction, and therefore he needs to kill them all. That's obviously kind of the extreme example. If we're talking about somebody like Hulk having this really large propensity to wreak havoc, does it matter that there's also the Bruce Banner side that could do good, that could bring betterment to humankind or the human race when he has the capacity to do such bad things? And so what I think super interesting here, especially with what Sylvie is saying of like, we saw what happens with variants of Kang. We cannot move forward with this. I have to continue on my mission, stand firm in my belief that getting rid of all versions of Kang is the only way forward. That's the right thing to do. However, Victor Timely, at this stage, the worst crime that he's committed is be a little bit of a con man based solely on the fact that the science of his time has not caught up with the kind of mind that he has. And so what's so interesting is seeing how in this episode, is it fair to kill someone who is yet to do something horrible, but who in quite literally these same people's lifetime has done horrible things? For an example, if they had the opportunity to get rid of an earlier Thanos, a different version of Thanos, knowing that he was going to destroy half the universe, is it good to do that or not? Because in this version of the universe, Thanos is like a barista at Starbucks or something. You know what I mean? I love the fact that this episode picks up in a completely different time period too than the previous episode. Like, I love the fact that, again, I said this on the first episode review and I'll say it again, the fact that this season is really committing to each episode feeling like its own unique contained episode and not just a continuation of the same scene from last week's episode, because that feels like an intentional product that television viewers are watching, because television viewers and movie viewers view things and watch things differently. They have different experiences because the media and the format is different, and they're supposed to be. And so I really appreciate the fact that we're allowing ourselves to skip through some time, and to some extent it works with the concept of the show, because if time works differently in the TVA, then time should be working differently in terms of how much we're getting to see these characters second by second. We understand that because time works differently, this could all be part of the day, same day, which has made me consider, do they ever go to sleep? Like, do they ever sleep, or are they just consistently awake? I don't know. We're getting this at the 3rd episode, and it feels like a very good season midpoint to have all the players present, what I assume to be all the players, and get to work from there on the central issue of the season. So I'm really enjoying this show still. If you are as well, again, let me know in the comments, like this video, or if you want to see more of these Loki specific reviews or anything having to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I cover it all here on this channel, so you're going to want to subscribe. And if you subscribe, you're going to be helping me get to my goal of reaching 5,000 subscribers before my birthday, which is in December. So I would really love if you did that. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you all so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.